Minister Bhatti, we forgot one question in the interview. Your life is threatened. By whom? And what sort of threats are you receiving?
The forces of violence, militant band organization, the Taliban and pro-al-Qaida, they want to impose their radical philosophy in Pakistan. And whoever stand against their radical philosophy, they threaten them. When I'm leading this campaign against the Sharia laws, for the abolishment of blasphemy law, and speaking for the oppressed and marginalized, persecuted Christian and other minority, these Taliban threaten me. But I want to share that I believe in Jesus Christ, who has given his own life for us. I know what is the meaning of cross, and I'm following of the cross.
In Shifa Hospital of Islamabad, and all the district administration and police officials are going over there, and now the security has been put on high alert in the federal capital, especially all those people who are belonging.
There's been worldwide condemnation of the murder of Shahbaz Bhatti, the only Christian minister in the government of Pakistan. Mr. Bhatti is the second senior politician there to be killed for speaking out against the country's controversial blasphemy laws.
The gunmen struck as the minister's car was coming down the road.
जहां पर नहीं हो सके हैं, इस बात की अभी सरकारी ज़राए से तस्दीक नहीं हो सकी है, ताहम शहबाज भट्टी की
For all, he is not only a martyr but a hero. Shahbaz Bhatti has won the hearts of masses in Pakistan.
He just had one aim in life and one mission in life, and that was to improve the plight of the religious minorities in Pakistan.
He was definitely a man with a dream, with a vision, that we can live together as different religious groups.
Born in 1968 in the Punjabi Christian village of Kushpur, one of a few such places on the map of Islamic Pakistan, Shahbaz Bhatti was Pakistan's first Christian government minister. He grew up in a well-to-do, educated Catholic family. His father was a teacher. In an interview published in Christians in Pakistan in Trial Hope that became his spiritual testament, Shahbaz Bhatti alludes to one of the decisive experiences of his life.
I remember it was on Good Friday before Easter, when I was just 13 years old. I heard a sermon on how Jesus sacrificed, gave us redemption and salvation to this world. This was the moment when I thought to reflect on Jesus' love for us, which led me to sacrifice my life by serving Christians, especially the poor, needy, persecuted and victimized in this Islamic country. I have this passion and belief that they are part of our body in Christ.
He was very compassionate. What surprised me most was his relationship and association with brick kiln workers. They were not his relatives, they were not even his friends. He would just go to a brick kiln and would start talking to people. And he would ask them, how much do you get? How long do you work? Is it a hard work? He knew it was a very, very hard work. Is there a way I can help you? And they would laugh at him because he was just a boy. I discovered that among his friends were donkey cart people and even sweepers and janitors and so many people who were in touch with him.
We studied in a Christian school, we were living in a Christian village, and we didn't have any problem. But in a government school where the majority of the students is different, he was surprised facing different kind of people who expressed their reservation, like sometimes people were saying they are not allowed to eat with other students, with the same plate, with the same utensils. So for him it was very, very strange. He really got angry that this is not human, you see.
I met him in the college. He was beaten by the Islamic Taliban, the student organization of Islamic radical group. And that was the time they were dominating all the universities and colleges in Pakistan. He was beaten because he belonged to the minority group, to the Christian community. And there he decided that he should raise his voice, that he is Pakistani, he belongs to this society.
One day, I think it was 1986, they formed this group called Christian Liberation Front. He came straight away to me, knelt down and asked for blessing, so that this group may be blessed, his work may be blessed. The name was not very clever, but at that time, that was in the air everywhere. Different liberation groups, and that was the urge of the youth. Slowly, we also realized that it has to be wider. That's why he called it All Pakistan Minorities Alliance, because that not only spoke of the Christians, it spoke of others who are discriminated in the country, the Hindus, the Buddhists, and others.
Shahbaz Bhatti remembers that time in his book.
Along with my colleagues, I travelled the whole country, met with women, men, poor villagers, farmers, the needy and the oppressed. I spent time with them, I strengthened them, and I told them that they were not alone. Whenever anything happened, any act of violence, of terrorism, anything, we would reach them and help the people immediately. In any situation of flood, poverty, earthquake, natural disaster and violence, we would be there to help.
Wherever there was a case of victimization, whether it was a rape case, whether it was a case of people being deprived of drinking water, he would go where the victims are. And he would really, you could see that he felt it. The way he sat, the way he even almost cried in some places. You could feel it, that he was feeling for the people.
I remember in those years, Benazir Bhutto was in exile because of President Ziaul Haq. He somehow got her address and he wrote her that I know your struggle for the poor classes of Pakistan, and I'm a Christian boy here. I have Muslim friends and we are all struggling for equality in the society, and we would like to join you. And to our surprise, he received a letter from Benazir Bhutto. And there she said, I'm very much strengthened by what you have written, and I'm so happy that a Christian boy also is thinking like me, and I'm preparing to come back to Pakistan, and when I'm in Pakistan, I will see to it that we meet. And they met. And this is how he joined Benazir Bhutto, and this is how then his struggle was officially known.
Shahbaz Bhatti believed in the same Pakistan envisaged by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the country's founder, who wanted a country based on Islam, all at once pluralistic, in which people of all religions could find a home. In his famous speech given before the First Constitutional Assembly on August 11, 1947, he said, "You are free. You are free to go to your temples. You are free to go to your mosques or to any other place of worship in this state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion or caste or creed. That has nothing to do with the business of the state. We are starting with this fundamental principle. that we are all citizens and equal citizens of one state. And yet, the status of Christians as well as members of other religious minorities has markedly deteriorated since Pakistan's foundation. Christians, who, not unlike Muslims, originate from the same ethnic group, today make up 2% of a society of over 180 million people. Together with the Hindu minority, they are the poorest and largely the least educated social group. Often discriminated in their search for decent employment, anybody with a Christian name can be condemned to failure, and finding work depends sometimes on a willingness to convert to Islam.
The Christians and the Hindus in Pakistan, they are considered as outsiders, they are considered as nothing. They had no land, they had no jobs, they wished to do menial work with the Muslims, and it was very difficult for them. It was like the apartheid of South Africa. The Christians were nobody.
Shahbaz Bhatti's protests over the years led to the abolition of the separate electorate system, as well as the abandonment of plans to include religious affiliation on identity cards. He united representatives from every minority under the banner of the All Pakistan Minority Alliance. Many Muslims numbered amongst his numerous friends, whom he endowed with great respect, endeavouring to help all people in need or suffering discrimination, irrespective of their religious belief or ethnic origin. He described what motivated him thus.
We are working with different religions in Pakistan, and I am blessed by the presence of many in our association. We work with Hindus, Sikhs, Zoroastrians, Kalashi, and others, and we also help Muslims. I consider that Jesus came for all the people of the world.
He got support from the churches, and not only from the Roman Catholic Church, but also from, although he was a Roman Catholic, but he got support also from the Protestant churches. The Church of Pakistan also stood behind him, and we were friends, and we always stood together in all the activities which he organized for peace, national harmony, for interfaith.
I must say that he was a courageful leader. He was carrying all the minority groups together with him. He reserved 5% quota for the minorities in Pakistan in different government jobs. He was the first to speak in the parliament. He was representing Pakistan on an international level. He was a bridge between Pakistan and the outer world.
Pakistan is my identity. Pakistan is my honor. Pakistan is my love. Pakistan is my pride. Pakistan is our native land. Shahbaz Bhatti, who dedicated his life to this cause, showed great empathy towards all minorities. He was an immensely, uniquely good man.
He included in his party the lowest caste of the Hindus community, which even Hindus don't accept. So he was accepted by everybody and by all. Big religious leaders accepted this and followed this. And first ever in time in history of Pakistan, we brought all these religious leaders, including big religious leaders of the Muslims.
Shahbaz Bhatti possessed a great passion within, a great need to serve his fellow men. He was a very good human being. I believe that we greatly need reconciliation and harmony. We greatly need these values to grow, so that all of us, believers of all faiths, might firstly respect the great people of all faiths, respect all the holy books, so that tolerance might prevail. War is no solution to any of our problems.
Some of the leaders which are open-minded, but there was a group who was not accepting this, who was thinking that he was not very much in favor of spreading Islam. He was anti-Islamic, but this was not true. He was the voice of the rights of the minorities and wanted to work against all the discriminatory laws, working to bring the religious groups in the mainstream. But this was not acceptable to specific groups, radical Muslim groups.
Introduced in 1985 by General Zia-ul-Haq, blasphemy laws continued to remain the biggest source of discrimination, as well as a threat to both Christian and other religious minorities alike. Anyone committing a blasphemous act towards the Quran faces a penalty of life imprisonment, whereas anyone found to be blaspheming against the Prophet Muhammad faces a death sentence. No evidence is required except the claims of 2 witnesses. Though the majority of blasphemy charges are brought against Muslims, the consequences of such a charge brought against Christians are far more serious. Sometimes whole families, villages, or Christian districts are forced to flee for fear of lynching by a crowd determined to mete out justice with its own hands. Even if, after numerous years, the High Court determines a person innocent, there is no chance of their returning to their previous life.
It can be any speech, any insinuation, any kind of gesture against the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, that would be punishable to death. Once that law came in, cases started coming up. So it was really an engineered law, and people wanted to make use of that law to discriminate against others. It has created an atmosphere that is very violent, and violence breeds violence.
Shahbaz got very, very disturbed about it. And he picked up this issue and said that this issue needs to be addressed. This law needs to be revisited, because this law is not a law which is bringing harmony, peace and justice. This is a law which is creating misunderstanding. It is not good for our relationship, and it is also not giving a good image of Islam to other communities and to the worldwide community.
Nobody has ever spoken against the blasphemy laws. We have always spoken against the misuse of the blasphemy laws, and that is exactly what Shahbaz Bhatti fought for, which eventually led to his assassination.
Towards the end of 2008, Shahbaz Bhatti, who up to that time had consistently refused to accept any public post, succumbed to pleas by Bishop Anthony Lobo to accept the nomination of Religious Minorities Minister in the Pakistan People's Party-led government. He thereby became the first Christian to hold public office in Pakistan's federal government. Within a short time, he managed to introduce a law guaranteeing minorities a 5% share of public posts, including Parliament. He also managed to inaugurate a National Minority Day on August 11th, the anniversary of Muhammad Ali Jinnah's famous speech. One matter which Shahbaz Bhatti became wholeheartedly involved with related to Asia Bibi, a Christian mother of 5 children who had been charged for blasphemous acts and accordingly sentenced to death. Open claims of misuse of blasphemy laws led to Shahbaz receiving a growing number of threats.
We were afraid, of course. Gradually, the extremism, fanaticism, sectarian violence in the society start growing here day by day. He started getting more threats. In the meantime, he started getting more powerful. He was very outspoken in the parliament. He was talking without any hesitation, without any fear. I was much worried because I knew that the threats he is facing that may cost him life.
He was not broken because of this pressure. He kept calm. He was under threat. Throughout his life, I think he was under threat. And yeah, sorry, unfortunate. I'm sorry.
He was careful, but then how much careful can you be if somebody is determined to kill you or to eliminate you? Shahbaz was very clear in his mind, he was very strong in his faith, and he was very committed to the cause that he has to fight against the misuse of the blasphemy law. I met Shahbaz a couple of weeks before he was assassinated. He said, Bishop Saab, I am ready to sacrifice even my life. This is a cause which we cannot make any compromises on. If my political career has to be destroyed, fine. If I have to lose my ministership in the government, I'm ready for it. And even if I'm killed, I'm ready for that.
It was not only Bishop Samuel Azariah who claimed that the source of Bhatti's strength was his deep religiosity that he never concealed. Once he wrote,
I want to share that I'm very much inspired by the Holy Bible and the life of Jesus Christ. The more I read the New and Old Testaments, the more it gives me strength, determination. The verses I like the most from the Holy Bible read, I came to you when I was hungry, when I was thirsty, when I was imprisoned. So when I see the poor people, I think Jesus might have come to me.
He had a Bible in his room, I know that. He had a rosary in his pocket many times, but in his room under his pillow, I know. In fact, he sometimes came to me and he asked for confession. He used to go for Sunday Mass. He believed in personal prayer.
He would read the Bible every day, and especially the Gospel of St. Luke, that Jesus came to preach good news to the poor, that he came to give liberty to the captives, so that the blind could see, that this was the time of the Jubilee. He always thought that this is the time of liberation for Pakistan, that if the Christians play a more important role, the whole country would live up to a new dream of the more liberated, more enlightened Pakistan.
Two years before his death, Bhatti wrote,
I do not want popularity. I do not want any position. I just want a place at Jesus' feet. I want my life, my character, my actions to speak for me and show that I am following Jesus Christ. Because of this desire, I will consider myself even to be more fortunate if, in this effort and struggle to help the persecuted and victimized Christians of Pakistan, Jesus Christ accepts the sacrifice of my life. I want to live for Christ and I want to die for him.
A few days before his assassination, my father told him, you need to beef up security. And he smiled and he said that, sir, Jesus is there to take care of me, and if I have to go, I have to go. If my name is written on a bullet, it'll get me. Eventually, 27 bullets got him.
When we left his home, a car stood directly opposite the gate. As soon as we drove out the gate, they immediately opened fire. I could not reverse back. A transformer stood on one side and a power pylon on the other. They opened the rear door in no time, and one of the men began to shoot. He was already firing as he came out of his car. It didn't even last a second.
It was for us a very big tragedy, the way we lost him. It was just, I think, a really fanatic, extremist reaction, again, to silence a person who had reached the level of minister and who was working to promote understanding between Islam and the other religions and working for harmony and peace.
आज है महफिल दीद के काबिल, शमा भी है परवाना भी, शमा भी है परवाना.
You realize your love when the person is gone, and you don't realize when he is alive. This is part of the history, and we all know that.
शमा भी है परवाना भी, आज है महफिल.
I think it was the biggest funeral I have ever seen. And all people were shouting and crying and beating the breast and weeping. The whole country was in shock.
I think the martyrs are always living and his soul is here, and this is only for Shahbaz Bhatti, that we love you very much and we are here to fulfill your dreams, and Christians will not suffer anymore. And because we are here, we are holding your flags, we are chanting your slogans.
He is saint for us. He's a martyr. He always believed that Jesus is his salvation. He believed in the cross, and I think he kept that cross always before him. So he has given his life for Christ and for the people here of this country.
My human body is wounded, but these wounds are not physical wounds. They are the wounds of worry, of grief, of the sorrows and pains of the persecuted Christians of Pakistan, of the needy and the oppressed Christians. We are one family with the people who are in need. Thus, as a family, we should share the sorrows, the griefs and the sufferings of each other.
मिसाल है तू मैं मिसाल पर तू काबिल